So let's talk Creed here. After dominating the boxing world, Adonis Creed has been thriving in both his career and family life. When a childhood friend and former boxing prodigy, Damien, Jonathan Majors, resurfaces after serving a long sentence in prison, he's eager to prove that he deserves a shot in the ring. The face-off between former friends is more than just a fight. To settle the score, Adonis must put his future on the line to battle Damien, a fighter who has nothing to lose. This has a 87% critic score and then a 96% audience score.
It's
What'd
up
you
to
guys
a
think?
96 audience score.
Yeah.
Fuck, like don't get me wrong. We're gonna rank it out of the three. This is a good fucking movie. I don't know if it's 96 good.
I think
Well, that's an
we
audience
also
thing.
Right.
we also should say for everyone listening, this is our fourth take saying that intro. This is new to us. We're having Mike do it now.
I'm filling in here. I'm filling in.
Yeah, we're trying something a little bit new. With that said, I think we can all agree off the bat without going too in depth with the reviews. We all enjoyed this at the very least, right? Kevin?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it is
absolutely.
a fun
I enjoyed it a
watch.
lot.
Great fucking pacing on this movie, dude.
I think one other thing I want to say that I just learned today, Mike and I have both seen the first one, but never saw the second one, and now just watched the third one.
Can I talk the second one really quick? Because I actually
fill us in.
Just watched the second one for the first time 2 days
They're
ago.
both on HBO too.
Yeah, HBO and Prime.
Yeah.
So the second one, I actually texted Josh and was like, is this like held as a good movie? Because I was not fucking with it at all in the first half. I thought it was cool. It laid out the story, but like maybe it was just the way that they wrote Michael B. Jordan's character Adonis in this. He just seemed super cocky and it felt super cheesy. We got to see the birth of his kid though, him and oh goodness, I forgot her name in the movie.
You get to meet Rocky's son.
Yes.
Grandchild.
Yep, Rocky's grandchild that we're going to see in Creed 4 that's going to take place 20 years from now when he's fighting.
Maybe they'll just call Rocky again.
Yeah. No, bring it back
bring
to
it all the way
Rocky Jr.
Yeah, okay, so sorry, Bianca. We get to see Bianca. Well, first he proposes and then finds out that she's pregnant.
Tessa Thompson, but
yep. And that's really about it. And then the last 30 minutes is where it's cool because then Creed goes out to the desert. And much like he did in the third one, which we're going to talk about, goes out to the desert, gets his mojo back, because he basically almost dies in the ring. He the big Russian comes back, but with his son Drago. Drago, best way to describe it, Sanch
Victor.
threw it out there, gotta call it out. Sanch called him a Goliath. That's like the best way to describe this motherfucker. Yeah. And he's a scary ass dude, and he almost kills him in the ring. So then whatever. Last 30 minutes, like, oh, we got to get back out there. I got to fight him. And then you get to see this awesome montage of him training and stuff. And then you get to see the fight. And the fight was good. They go round for round, and then he ends up knocking him out. And that's basically the second one.
Well, because his dad died in the ring.
Yeah. So
to
and that's
Drago.
what's cool. So so the Russian actually is the one that throws him the white towel for his son. And he has like a coming. It's not coming to age, obviously, but he has like a heart-turning moment where he's like, you know what, there's more to this. Like, I want my son to live. I don't need to prove shit here. Like, it's fine. And that's why it makes it cooler when you see him in the third one. That's really the only thing you missed out is that little background why it's cool that him and Adonis are like kind of tight now, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Actually, Emma asked me when we were in the car, so she'd never seen the first or the second one. When into this third
or the
movie,
Rocky movies.
She'd seen some of like a Rocky movie, I believe, but never seen one through.
So she went in pretty fresh.
And she goes, "What were the first two about?" And I didn't even see the second one. And I go, well, I haven't seen the second one, but here's my guess. I go, the first one is you get to see Creed kind of becoming a fighter from the ground up as an underdog. I go, the second one, I haven't seen it, but I would guess he's kind of a badass and he's in his prime because he's training. He's got some fights under his belt. I go, and obviously this third one will probably be him like retired and coming back for a fight. How'd I do?
Pretty
really
good.
Fucking good.
Now, before we
correct-
go any further, I need to know if you guys watched the Rockies.
Yeah.
All of them.
I've seen.
I know.
I've only
Josh
seen one.
told me that he watched all of them. Now,
Yeah.
I have only fully watched the first one all the way through. I know how the other three end. And I've
Dude.
seen so many bits and pieces. I feel like I've seen all of the fucking movies, just turning it on TV. But I cannot sit down and say, "Oh yeah, I watched all 4 Rockies." No, I only watched the first one all the way through.
Man,
I've only
like
seen the first one. all
that's
the way
something
through.
you just have to do, Brian. Like I feel like Rocky
I
is
know, and like I said,
I'm with you,
maybe
Brian.
I've seen the second one, but the other two I definitely have only caught on TV. I know how it ends. Shout out Spencer, he gave me the rundown in like ninth grade because I think Rocky 4 was on. He's like, "Oh hell yeah, Rocky 4," and he goes, "You ever see the other ones?" He just went through and spoiled all of them. But that's also why I fuck with just watching the second one for the first time and the third one. You actually don't know if he's gonna win or not because the first Rocky ends with Rocky getting knocked the fuck out and
Yeah,
coming
so
back for redemption.
So on this movie, actually, I mean, you've got Creed versus Dame.
Yeah,
Damien.
Just Dame.
Damien.
Yeah.
Does he
but
go?
Dame.
He goes by Damien though, right?
Yeah, Diamond Damien.
Diamond
Diamond
Damien.
Damien.
Put some respect
Okay.
on his name.
Diamond
sorry,
Damien was such a
Diamond
hard
Damien.
ass name.
I like leaned over to Emma and she's like, like Creed will win this one, right? I'm like, yeah, I think so. Like that's probably how this should go. But I go, I don't totally know. I mean,
Mhm.
they could
He
do
lost at the
kind
end of
of
the
a
first one.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
go, they could. Yeah, exactly. That's literally what I said. I go, we lost in the first movie. I go,
Mhm.
they could pull something. So I said, I don't totally know what'll happen. Another thing I just want to note early on that I told Mike right when he walked out of the theater because I saw him, and I said, and he told me who I said the music in this movie is really good. I thought,
Oh, dude, that's
it got me
another
hyped
thing I
up.
want to say. So that's
Brian,
another thing.
I know you're gonna get hyped for this shit because I seen this right before I came into the movie theater.
Mhm.
Dreamville, bro, they did such a good job on that shit,
Yes.
man. Like,
Yes.
oh my god. So
So-
their the Dreamville Festival is I think in like a month and a half or so. Like I
Mhm.
swear to God, this makes me want to go to this shit because
Where's
this
it
yeah,
at?
dude.
Out of
it's in
curiosity.
North Carolina. It's
All
not
right.
that far away
Sounds like
from us.
we might have
actually
to do a
not
small
bad.
guys trip.
Put
Drake
it
and
on the card.
Drake and J.
Yeah.
Cole are headlining the second day too together.
Josh,
so.
do you think we can get that on the card?
We only have a $2,500 credit limit, but
Hey, 4 tickets is only gonna be like $1,000.
25,000. You meant 25,000.
No,
Oh,
he
yeah,
meant
yeah.
25 million.
Another
we gotta boost. We gotta boost it up for clout. Come on now.
Yeah.
It's funny though that you bring up the soundtrack because that's another thing. Sanch gave me like a no spoiler review one night when we were talking on Xbox this weekend, and he literally goes, "Pav, from that first song, I knew that album was gonna be, or that whole soundtrack was gonna be a banger." And I was like, "What's he talking about?" So I go and sit down yesterday. You hear the Watcher start, and I text him. I go, "All right, you were right. No context." And he goes, "I fucking
Yup.
told you."
Yup.
And then yeah, dude, because they also they put West Side Boogie on it, which I didn't know West Side Boogie had a song in the second one, which I fucking loved. And just from that alone, I was like, this is gonna be a hit. I don't think it'll ever touch, no one's ever gonna touch the Black Panther soundtrack because Kendrick Lamar did his fucking thing on there.
Yeah.
But this is a very close contender. So I'm glad you brought
Yeah.
that up early, Mike.
And they threw in some Nipsey Hussle, man. Damien's from Crenshaw, man. So they got last time that I checked and Grinded All My Life, man. 2 of my favorite tracks by him. So rest in peace, Nipsey, man.
I'm surely not as in the loop as you two. I just walked out of that movie and was like, I need to look up this soundtrack.
Hey, but that's how you know it's good, man. That's how you know
I
it's
walked
good.
out and I told Emma, I was like, I'm gonna look this up.
Yeah, dude, like I was
Who is this?
genuinely in that bitch like head bobbing at one point.
No,
It's
so
like
was
when
I.
they-
So was
I
I.
forget what song they were playing
No,
while they were
it's,
training, but I was sitting there by myself just going, yeah.
It's J. Cole's like the Adonis interlude, like
Oh,
the
yeah.
minute and 30, where
Yeah,
he's like the
dude.
montage of him training, dude.
Yeah,
I was
I
in the-
actually
I was
Yeah.
in-
wrote a-
I swear to God, I was in the movie theater. I was like,
I was in
like,
the movie
damn.
theater. I went on Amazon. I ordered a jump rope. I got
Andrew stood up in the middle of the
hey,
theater and
hey,
just
listen,
go,
no, listen. When I got home, I swear to God, this movie made me want to go in the mirror and like shadow box, man. I was like, I was like, yo, let's go.
I watched Creed 1 last night, and I go, my alarm was set today for 8 a.m. I go, I'm setting it for 7. I'm gonna go run in the morning. Fuck no. Fuck no.
No,
I
bro.
thought about it,
That
and then I
7
go,
alarm went off, and you go, why the fuck did I set that?
pretty much. It didn't even get that far though. Because right
Holy
before I went to bed, I go, what am I doing? Change that back to 8.
We
Yeah,
actually
dude.
just ordered some 12-ounce gloves too before we
Yeah.
just hopped on.
But yeah, dude, and just so the soundtrack brings it life, right? But like I said, one of the best things about this movie was the fucking pacing, and it just
Yeah, it
kept
was good.
moving, dude. And it was really fucking cool. You see this flashback, and also I want to give flowers to whoever fucking casted all these people, because the young
Dude.
Adonis and the young fucking Dame were so good for
Yeah, they
what
were.
they were going to grow up to be. Like the young Michael B. Jordan, that was like, okay, like that's perfect. And then you
made
see the
sense.
kid that plays Dame, and I kind of, for some reason, I didn't know any of the premises for this movie at all. I knew is that Jonathan Majors was going to be in it, and I saw that kid, and I was like, wonder who he's going to be. And I go, oh, duh, it's Jonathan Major. Like that makes so much sense.
I know so I'm looking at it now. The kid that plays the young Damien, his name's Spencer Moore, and he's from All American. I don't know if you guys ever
What
watched
else is
that
he from?
before.
Because he looks super
He's in a
fucking familiar.
he's gotten pretty bigger, honestly, man. He's in
All
a
right.
couple
I
new movies,
totally
and he has some bigger
recognize him.
roles.
Hmm.
Yeah, he can definitely kind of become a star one day, man. But I think that cast.
Another. Sorry, Mike.
No, you're good.
I'm just like off the top of my head. I don't want to forget about it because it was on the way home. Another point I want to bring in that I thought was they did good in this movie as we kind of progress through it here. In the beginning, you realize that Adonis's mother she has a stroke, and so they're preemptively
Yeah,
telling
the second
you
they said the stroke, she's gonna
she's
die.
going
I
to
knew for a
die in
fact
this
you
movie.
were.
Yeah, dude, I
You-
couldn't
you-
even handle, and then I still cried when I saw
So
it.
that's
too,
what I
man.
was going to say is they say that they give it away. You know she's gonna die. That's gonna be a plot point in the movie. You don't know how significant. Is that gonna be like his big comeback? Which I will say I like that that's not really what like tipped him over the edge. Like it wasn't but that was significant. But it wasn't like his mom's final words weren't like, you need to beat his ass. Like
Yeah.
she was saying like you need to find another way. And then I want to say that you knew that was coming. You knew the death was coming, but how they executed it with her like saying into his eyes like Apollo, I thought that was really good.
Oh,
Yeah,
And it
and
was
how she
beautiful,
was so mad when he left her, and like that was so
Yeah.
sad. And how when she first saw Adonis, she like hated him
Yep.
because she knew that he had cheated on her, but at the same time that no boy that was gonna be his, but should have been hers, was gonna go like unloved. And which feeds into the whole idea that because Damien was locked up, she's like, I don't want that for my kid at all. And I kind of knew when she was gonna die was gonna be right after fucking Adonis freaks out on her. He's like, "Why would you do this?" And he goes, "None of this
Yeah.
would have happened." And she goes, "I know, none of this would have happened." Which obviously
Yeah.
processed with him
You-
later that
Yeah.
none of this would have happened. And then literally a minute later, the picture, and it's all a setup.
Yeah. Well, I
Yep.
think the way they did it too, when you see like his mom calling him, he's like, "Hey, mom," and then it's Bianca actually on the phone. She's like,
Yeah.
you gotta come here. Like
Uh-huh.
it's she just had
Yeah,
another
no,
stroke. It could be.
They did
was-
that really well. I
I
will
was
say
like, no,
I have some to point out in that scene. I did not notice. I would have to rewatch it to see if it's true, but Emma said that as the mom was crying, the tears were coming down her face, and then the camera cuts to him and cuts back to her, and the tears are completely gone and her face is dry. So she was like, that might have been CGI. And I was like, oh, I hope not. I was like, that kind of ruins that moment.
Well, either way, I think
But
they
it was
did a
still
good job.
beautiful. But she caught that. I would have to rewatch it to see if it's.
It could have been multiple takes too, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But she's like, did you notice that?
Yeah,
You're
maybe
a
the
movie
second half.
reviewer." And I was like, no, I kind of
Good to
missed
notice.
that.
Well, no, the one thing I did notice too, and it's from the get-go, and it's once Damien's introduced and he's back from jail. There's that scene, and Creed comes in to talk to him in the locker room, and everyone's hyping up Lewis because that's supposed to be the guy that's gonna win, heavyweight world champion. And so he's the only one that goes and visits Damien. And he walks around at the end, and I don't know if you caught it, but there was that light versus dark. You have Creed in the light of the open door. He's about to go out there.
And
You
they
got
look at each
Damien
other.
standing in the dark. Yeah, and they just drag it out. But from there, if you notice, there's also numerous times throughout the movie where it's light versus dark, and Damien's the dark, likes the Creed, or Creed is light. And like the best example, the ending fight, Creed shows up all white and there's Damien in all black.
All black.
I thought that was super fucking cool to like actually catch that and like notice it throughout the movie.
And that's
So
how Westerns were too.
Yeah.
Like the good guy's always wearing white and the bad guy's always wearing black.
And that feeds into the whole idea because it was Michael B. Jordan that said it because he directed it, about how he kind of it felt like it was an anime to him. Which I want to say, that beginning fight, dude, where this is what makes Creed fucking Creed and he's better. Because again, we're watching him eat these punches, and those aren't easy punches to eat. But like to us, we're like, come on, you fucking dumbass, like knock him out. But he can eat those punches. And then this one did a good job of the slow-mo where he's getting his ass whooped, but he's taken in like he's fucking Iron Man, having Jarvis analyze the fight pattern. He's like, oh, there's an open spot. I thought that was cool as hell. I thought that was super sweet.
So two things. First, I want to give my flowers to Michael B. Jordan because this movie was fucking beautiful. And I think they definitely shot it with a newer camera or whatever, a newer lens or whatever, because this shit looked clear as hell with whatever they shot it with. So, you know, all the flowers to Michael B. Jordan. He's honestly,
you gotta give prop to whoever was doing like the choreography too and stuff for these every time someone like made a contact, boom, it's a solid hit. Maybe it was even cooler because we were in the Epic theater, so like some of those hits like were like shaking.
Does it like boom around you, dude?
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. That you felt like you were kind of there, and I think that's a good point, Mike, with the with whatever they shot it with or whatever they did, it did look really beautiful. Which kind of I want to tie that into. You guys can add in their final fight. I thought that was awesome.
That was the second thing I was gonna say.
I actually was telling Josh about that last night because I hopped on Xbox right after I got home and was talking to him. At first it threw me for a loop. I liked that it went single. We went and saw round 1 and 2 like a normal fight. You know, they're each holding their own. He's got it in his head, and then they just sound everyone out, which shows how experienced they are. But it also shows that chemistry they have. That this is bigger than a fight. And you know, when it cuts and you see the younger versions, they're seeing the younger versions of each other. And like at the same time, I just want to mention fucking Jonathan Majors shit talking had me boiling, bro. Like I was in the seat pissed off, like let me at him, calling him little bro and shit. Like, oh my god. But yeah, then they went through 9 rounds. I kind of wish they would have cut that a little shorter.
No,
I think we should have saw 2 rounds at the end. I think that would have been kind of cool. But I'm also like, because like, I know people that absolutely hated that. Some guys at work were talking about that. They didn't really like that. I thought it was cool.
What?
I did say.
Josh, what did you think about that? You're kind of
so I see why people hate it. It's because no other Creed or Rocky movies ever done that.
Yeah,
but that's what that anime kind of feel was that he was going for, was like what Brian said earlier, when it's zooming in on where their injuries are during the fight, and when it zooms in on their eyes too. I know you probably mentioned that. Yeah, it zooms in on their eyes, and that ending fight, and like even the training leading up to that last fight, all felt like an anime, and it felt fucking awesome, like refreshing.
Dude,
honestly, I really loved it. So
1,000,000%. That was the most honestly like refreshing ending to a Creed or a Rocky movie that I've probably seen in a very long time.
I want to add something too at the actual ending after the fight when Adonis goes to see Damien and he like just sits down next to him. And I really liked this. There was like a 10-second silence.
They just sat next to each other.
They just sat next to each other. And then I want to add on top of that, where they have kind of their heart-to-heart moment, which I appreciated. It was emotional. And he says, go with your family, champ. And they didn't have a cheesy ass like, oh, come with me, come with the family too. He was like, no,
I was waiting for that, Andrew. I was waiting for that.
I was like, and
so was I. He's a bigger man than I, because again, all that shit talking Jonathan Majors did in the ring, and like he's getting in his head. I thought it would be so fucking funny if Michael B. Jordan like slumped as he goes, "Get the fuck out of my city." I was waiting for him to get cocky again, but that's growth. If this was like Creed 2, I feel like he would have done some dumb shit like that. But this is growth, and you're right, Andrew. That 10-second pause, I appreciate it because they just respect the shit out of each other. Like, Creed knows that Damien would have been one hell of a contender if he hadn't got locked up, and maybe he wouldn't be where he's at. But now Damien knows that Creed can fucking bang, and that he did learn a lot of shit while he was away, and that Creed maybe could have got there, and Damien wouldn't have stolen the light like he thinks that he would have, which he technically did for that little bit. But oh my god! And then, dude, when they go on live TV, shout out Stephen A. Smith being in the movie live TV, and he's literally just on the phone. He's got a bitch over, and he's just like, "Come on, little bro, I'll beat your ass. Like you're a liar. You leave family." And he's like, "That's not even the real story, dude." I loved it, dude. It was such a fun watch.
No, absolutely, man.
It was definitely I think my expectations, I went into it because I had just watched Creed 1. Like I'd seen Creed 1 before, but I just rewatched. My plan was to rewatch 1 and then watch 2 for the first time ever. Yeah, I watched 1 again and I never got through 2. So but I rewatched 1 last night, and I kind of went into this with like medium expectations. I didn't look at any of the scores. I did hear, Josh had said, this is a pretty good one, but I don't know. I thought maybe Josh
said top 10 of the year.
Yeah, I thought maybe you were gassing it up.
I think that's accurate.
No, it is.
But I think that is accurate.
Did it throw you guys off that Rocky was in the movie at all?
No. Actually, I seen something online too about Michael B. Jordan said that he wanted to kind of stand alone on its own.
And I respect that.
And he didn't want to kind of be in the, not like in the shadows of Rocky kind of, or Sylvester Stallone. But he was a producer. He was a producer on it.
Yeah.
I think that's good that they stepped away from that so they can kind of go towards the future, whatever they decide, probably with Creed's daughter.
And
when they were in the ring real quick, like Creed and his daughter, Emma did lean over to me and go, "Wouldn't it be funny if he just like knocked her clean out?"
I thought the same thing. Just
what? That's fucking vile.
No, you know what I did think though? You know what I did think? I was like, what if what if Jonathan Majors baned this whole fucking floor? Like he's up there like a super villain, just blows up the whole flooring on them.
But I will say this though. Like you talking about how Jonathan Majors' character, like Damien's just like all doing all this shit talk and like getting under Creed's skin, like that is 1,000,000% just, in my opinion, from what he thinks to be true.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, like, and with that said though, like that's kind of like if I can get behind you as a villain in a movie or an antagonist, like that's how I know like it's gonna be a compelling like storytelling.
I have a question. The fight with Felix and Diamond Damien, I was I don't know how you guys felt, but I was literally sitting there and I didn't know who I wanted to win. They did a really good job. I don't know how you guys felt.
I kind of wanted Damien to win, I feel like.
No, actually, I have something to say about that fight. I kind of wish that Lewis would have been the one to get hurt at the listening party, and the Goliath himself could have came back in the ring, and it would have been Drago versus Damien, because I think that would have been a way more equal fight.
I thought maybe they were going to do that when you see Creed when he's training, like just getting his ass handed to him.
Yeah.
I thought maybe they're going to do like a Cars 3 kind of thing where
in reality he can't
pull.
Yeah, he can't do it. He can't do it. He has to train someone younger.
Yeah, that's what Lightning McQueen does.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what, maybe it is time I step aside as the champion. Even though he tried to, actually that's my reference.
You know what's funny? It reminded me of that too. I thought of Cars 3. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm glad.
And then too, like for Cars 1, I kind of thought about that for the first one. So like if I had to rank the Creed movies, I don't think there's a bad one at all. I think 2 is actually really good. But I think it goes 1 and then 3 is slightly behind it, like a point or 2 behind it. And then there's 2.
Really?
But like 2 is still a good movie. Yeah, I don't think there's a weak
I'm
one.
going 3-1-2 on here like I do with Iron Man's.
Okay.
2
is a bad take on 2 different levels.
Last for me by default, just because I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
but I definitely think that 3 is slightly above 1, especially kind of just like how emotional it is, and just the way it caps off the trilogy.
Yeah, I thought that was really good.
And see, I like to. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the no Rocky. It really held up. Not having Rocky in it by the end of the movie, I didn't even care. I first went into it and I was like, maybe they'll like reference him, and they didn't really even bring him up, which is cool. And then exactly, and then it held up, and I think that's why this holds its own, and I think that's why I like it more than one. Now, don't get me wrong, Josh. I'm probably in the opposite of you, but like it is like right there. Well, actually, I know I'm in the opposite of you, but it is that close.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm glad we're kind of split. I probably lean slightly with Josh, with one just being a little bit better, and I feel like they're neck and neck on a balance. You could take one or the other for a myriad of reasons.
Yeah, I kind of just I mean, I love the plot in this movie, but I think I like the plot a little bit more in the first one. With him being like a true underdog, you know, being with Creed, learning the ropes and everything like that. I think I kind of just like, and the fact that he lost, I like that a lot too. So, because I wasn't expecting it. And ever since that first fight, I went to the second and third one where like my hands are like sweaty during those last fights because like I'm nervous for him not to win.
Yeah, you don't know who's gonna win.
Yeah, like genuinely. So I like the first one just a tad bit more, but I love the direction and like the way he made this movie. And I think this is a really awesome first movie for him to direct. And I'm excited to see
this his
what
first
more
movie
he does.
Ever that he directed?
Directing, yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Now, Josh, be honest. Did you come home from this movie and shadowbox in your basement?
I did, yeah. Actually, it's funny. Me and Santra sent each other Snapchats of us shadowboxing each other. So
we did actually. It's time we can tell Brian and Mike. We did actually. Our first studio will actually be in a boxing ring.
Oh,
fuck yeah!
Let's go.
What'd you guys think
We're renting out the closet?
What did you guys think of that last fight being at Dodger Stadium? I think that was really cool.
All CGI, but yeah.
That's what threw me off. All the CGI is like, this kind of looks gross. Like I didn't really like it at first. Well, really? At the end, like during the actual fight when they were in the ring, it looked good. But when they first did that overshot, I didn't really like it.
They probably kind of like they made the dugouts more of like a studio thing, I'm sure, and then they CGI'd the rest of it. But I think, like I said, this movie looks fucking good. Yeah. Like from start to finish, like there's really not too many scenes that I can say are like.
I think what it might have been, Mike, would be like the, I'm just thinking like maybe like the color palette or something that they chose. Whoever was behind that design in the background. I know that there is people that like that is their job, but it didn't. It felt like Raw, maybe.
I like Raw.
Yeah, there was that the part where the training, I love that part so much, and they're in every movie, but like the whole training montage.
I think the second one had a good training. I think that's the best
second one was really good too. Because at that point I actually had to get up and pee. I didn't get up and pee, but I had to. I'm like, I'm not getting up during the training montage. And then we went right into the fight. I'm like, I'm not missing the fight. So yeah, I just sat there the whole time. But
you just pee in your popcorn bag?
Yeah, I just peed in my diaper. No, the part where he walks up to the mirror in the desert and he's just like fucking shredded. And I'm a straight male, but I'm like, God dang it.
No,
man, he looked good. Like
Michael B. Jordan is one of the most handsome men on this fucking earth.
Me and Emma got in the car and she goes, "What's his name?" I go, "Why?"
You go, a lot of people say we look alike.
No, Brian, I literally go, "Oh, you mean Michael B. Jordan?" She goes, "Yeah." I go, "Yeah, we kind of look alike." She goes, "Yeah."
God damn it, we all hang out too much.
No, dude, and Jonathan Majors, like, he was huge.
He was whooping the shit out of his sparring partners, bro. He goes, "You get the fuck out of here." The guy's taking his glove, just like, I'm going home. No, Josh, did you like at first I thought it was cheesy, but the more and more I thought about it, it was so fucking cold. When he's down and Drago had just knocked him out, or not knocked him out, but knocked him down during the training, and he puts his fist down, and right as he hits it, it cuts into the montage of 3 different fights where it's him picking himself up. I love that, dude.
I thought that was really cool. You see, I know for a fact the first movie when he's like down cold in that last round and just and gets up, I was like, oh hell yeah, like and that's the point where I knew it was shifting from like he is gonna take this fight and it's not gonna be the Cars 3 scenario.
And then you know what else was cool, which I noticed, because again I just watched the second one. The second one is where Rocky really hammers into him like, hey, you're gonna come up before the 10 seconds, but take the 8. Like, you don't need to bounce right back up. And in this one he took the 9. he sat down there for 9 and then finally got up right at the 10 and was like, all right, I'm good to go. And again, it's cool seeing his maturity throughout this. Like I said, like if he would have knocked Dame out in the second one, he probably would have told him, get the fuck out of my city, like I run this shit. But like now that he has a kid and he's an adult and he knows his boy got fucked over, and I mean, for the best, his mom held out the fact that he was reaching out to him, but now it's like, I mean, could you call it water under the bridge? I feel like you could. I mean, no one like died. Well, I mean, his mom, but that was natural cause. It's not like Dame killed her.
Jesus, bro, you're digging yourself a bigger hole.
I know, but
just shut up, bro. Honestly.
Well, no, and like him punching him at the beach and like all the shit he said was like awful, like, you know, almost unforgivable.
18 years worth though.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So like, what was really cool about this movie is that, and I love this when movies do this. You can kind of see the villain's like point of view, right? Like, you know, kind of. I mean, you kind of can, right? From where they're seeing things, and I like that, and I feel like this movie kind of does that a little bit. Where,
you think he learned from Black Panther 1?
Yeah, maybe, and that another Michael B. Jordan movie. Yeah, where you can kind of see Killmonger's point of view. That's what I really loved about that movie too. Yeah, so I like that a lot. It wasn't like cut and dry, like, no, Adonis is in the right here 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all backing him, right? But it's like, no, you can kind of see, you know, on both sides of things. For sure.
Let me ask you guys this here. So if Damian won, how do you think the ending would have gone? Like post him winning.
Did you think for a second, right before he knocks him down, that like, because there was that opening, I thought Damian was gonna get like one in there. I totally thought he was gonna get one in there and slump him.
The second that I seen Michael or Adonis get knocked down in the beginning of the fight, I knew for a fact he was gonna win, just because like just based on like there's no reason to get knocked down two times.
Yeah,
if they would have done that
second round where he's in his head.
If they would have done that, I would have been like, all right, like really? Like that's the way you're gonna do this? But
I thought it was gonna come down to points, honestly. I didn't know if it would, I was hoping for a knockout, but I thought maybe it was gonna come down to points.
I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but the knockout that he had on Damian, that's an iconic photo, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, that's what I thought, dude.
That shit, dude, I'm gonna go on YouTube after we do this and fucking see that shit, because that shit was so sweet how he did that. You see his face just go to the side, dude, and he just falls down like he's like a dead corpse.
Yep. That was in oh goodness, I'm blanking on his name. Never mind. Take it back. Scratch it.
Can you imagine though if boxing was like this, like at all? Like, I don't know, like boxing feels like nowadays it's a lot like clinging, at least for most fights like that I watch. I feel like where they're just kind of like, you know, they're exhausted, right? Yeah. But like to be in the 12th round and they're fucking throwing haymakers like that, full of energy. They seem like
what they should do is create a boxing league, federation, whatever you want to call it, where knockouts only. like fuck the points, fuck everything else. First person to get knocked out.
I don't think they can get away with that, bro.
Yeah, that's not. You're gonna need to go to somewhere other than.
Because you'd have everyone fighting dirty like Damian.
Yeah.
Dirty or not, like there's. Like,
no, I agree with you, Mike.
The most entertaining thing. I think that would be beneficial for.
It boxing. Would be way more entertaining. I mean, as you're watching these people, like this is a movie, obviously, but there are boxers in real life, and you're watching them train, and this like the speed and hand-eye coordination. I'm like, just like, because none of us are even near that like level of like dexterity and stamina and everything. I'm like, yeah, maybe you, Josh. But I was just thinking that like the whole time, I'm like, if you had to fight someone like this as just like a regular person, like you'd be killed in like 3 seconds.
Oh, easily, yeah.
No, Mikey, you have the gains. Can we get the speed on you and put you in the ring?
I mean,
I'll drive behind you and honk at you so that way you keep running. Like
create like our own small guys montage of me like training here, just like
it's
my
like
hat in
all
the ring
of us eating in the background, but it's like you treated yourself like the king you are.
I like that, man.
Well, you know, like boxers in real life, like professional ones, actually like their hands are like weapons, like registered.
Yeah,
they
have to register them.
Yeah, isn't that nuts?
That's so crazy.
I didn't know that till like a couple years ago.
Same with because kickboxers have to register their feet.
Yeah, because if they get into a fight,
they can be charged.
Like they can get charged.
Yeah, because it's like they could have deadly weapon. Yeah, especially if they were like provoking it. Like Mike, who was that? Who is that college athlete that got dropped in the bathroom by a like not a pro MMA fighter, but an aspiring MMA fighter? You know what video I'm talking about? He got in that kid's face.
I know what you're talking
little
about.
Little dude who's like trained in MMA and he just knocks him the fuck out.
Yeah. Hey man, that shows you be careful while you're talking shit to. But honestly though,
I wouldn't even Josh just knocking you out.
Yeah, I wouldn't even want to like Michael B. Jordan or Jonathan Majors. Like the fact, like just the training it took for this movie, probably they could beat the living fuck out of all four of us.
I watched an interview where Jonathan Major was like, he was talking, and so his schedule was for him to like, he was working out twice a day and eating a shit ton and like going, and like when he wasn't working out was when he was working on the movie, but then he got in the habit of like, he was just kind of bored and wanted something to do, and he was going like 3 times a day, he was saying, and he just got in that habit, dude. And that's when I just realized like, this guy is fucking crazy and I love him and I want him in more and more stuff. Really off topic real quick, but me and Josh were talking about it. Josh is like, I want to see him be the bad guy and everything. Like, he's fucking great. Don't get me wrong. I want to see that because I love him. I need one where he's a good guy because he's so good at being the bad guy that I'm hating him. Like, I was walking out of Creed. I was walking out of Creed and I was like, all right, you know, like, that's just a role. He's a good guy. Now I'll see him in Ant-Man and I go, fuck, he's Kang.
You know what? I feel like that's a good example of like Chris Evans. He was always the good guy, you know, whether it be Marvel or any of his movies that he had been in, he was always the good. So to see him as a bad guy,
that was funny.
And Nice Out.
Yeah. And what was the other movie?
The Netflix movie that we watched.
Gray Man.
Gray Man.
Yeah, it's interesting to see someone like that who you're used to playing like a good guy. So I think that would be cool to see.
I just want Jonathan Majors in every movie.
I agree.
So good.
He talked about it, and I think it's true. Like, he can be like the next like Denzel, like Samuel L. Jackson type actor. I think of our generation, to be honest with you. Him and Michael B. Jordan. I think they're both well on their way, and they're establishing themselves with these great catalogs of movies. Like, there's no reason that they can't reach that level.
That Michael B. Jordan shot himself in the foot with was fucking Fan Force Stick. But you know, he would have been a good Johnny if they would have gave him a good script.
Yeah.
Storm?
Well, Miles Teller recovered too, so
true.
Wait, would you? Whatever. Actually,
do we want to roll into our scores and reviews here? Close this out.
Yeah, I can go first here. I'll keep it short and sweet. I'm gonna give it a 91 out of 100. I really love this movie. The soundtrack, the way it looked, and just, you know, the big three here with Tessa Thompson, Jonathan Majors, and Michael B. Jordan, some of my favorite actors and actresses of just the new age of movies here. But I think this is a really good conclusion to the trilogy. I'm really sad that I didn't watch the second Creed, to be honest with you, beforehand. But I think for the most part, the pacing of this movie was really good, and there really wasn't anything that I changed about this movie. It's just a really good fucking movie, and I think, like you said, Josh, that it definitely is a contender, I think, for a top 10 movie of the year.
I'll go right off that, piggyback right off that. I'm also going to go with a 91. I think that is the perfect slot for this movie. Originally I was thinking an 89, but I was like, no, that's just silly. Like, because again, I think we review a lot of good movies and I'm constantly giving high ones, but this one, I just can't not give it something a little over a 90. So much fun, great pacing. The coloring was great. I don't know if you guys ever watched The Fighter, Christian Bale and Mark Wahlberg. I was picking up those vibes because, you know, in that one, Christian Bale was supposed to be the fighter, but then Mark Wahlberg was the brother that like kept his nose clean and wasn't getting into shit, and in the end was the better fighter. And, you know, I felt like with this, you kind of got those vibes because it should have been Damien, but no, it was Creed. And then Creed proves his worth that it should have been him the whole time. And I don't know, I love that. Great soundtrack. Like I said, the coloring, gotta love it. 91 all around. Get your ass out there and see it. You could be like Andrew and Mike, not even see the second one. Fuck, you might not even need to see the first one.
You probably don't.
Honestly, you really probably don't.
And you could go there and have a great fucking time. I recommend watching the other ones if you have the time. If you have the time, definitely watch the other two. But go see this on the big screen if you can.
No, Brian, let me ask you this. Because I've seen the first and third one just now, do you think I should go back and watch the second one?
I think you should, because it shows how he's getting smarter. And there's actually one of the big guy, again, this is why I said the second one had the best training scene. There's one point he takes him out to the desert. It's like this mecca to like rebuild yourself and like get back and get ready to get in the ring. And he goes up against this big Mexican dude, and Rocky just throws down a tire and has him put his foot in it and goes, it's going to be a toe-to-toe fight. You got to keep it that way. You can't let him like get in your area. You got to be just like that in his face. And I love that. And it's really cool. They do a cool shot where it cuts to the Russian and Drago actually toe-to-toe like practicing, so you know that is how he's fighting. I don't know. It was really cool. Again, I didn't really like a lot of the majority of the first half. There's a lot of story you get to find about their daughter being like Bianca being pregnant, you know, that's really cool. But that last 40 minutes, dude, loved it.
Well, fuck, you just told me the whole fucking Creed 2. Dude, I'm not gonna go watch it now.
No, you gotta watch it though. You gotta watch that whole struggle he goes through. Ooh.
Yeah.
I love Michael B. Jordan, but I'm sorry, go on, Josh.
Yeah, actually, so I saw it with Sydney, and she told me, she was the one that was like, honestly, you didn't have to watch any of the previous movies, either Rocky or Creed, to understand this movie, and you wouldn't be lost at all. And I was like, honestly, now that you say it, like, I think you're right. They do really explain everything. You know, to even showing his last fight at the very beginning of the movie, to him being retired, and then, you know, everything like that. So I thought that was all really cool. The story of him and Damien as kids like totally makes sense. Mm-hmm. And I think we've all had experiences maybe when we were kids or something like that. Maybe we regret something. Clearly, this is like a huge regret of his, is running away, you know, to something where he's like completely, as he's grown up, like pushed it down and like tried to forget about it. Like I think we've had moments like that too. So like that all felt really real. I loved his daughter a lot. That was really cool. Yep. Like when he was teaching her the jabs, I love that scene. That was one of my favorite scenes from the movie. I don't know what kind of audience you guys had. I went on a Sunday night. It is opening weekend, but I went Sunday night, and my crowd was like alive. Like it was like a Thursday night premiere. It felt like in there, like people were going crazy.
Fuck, I wish.
Dude, when Adonis knocked Damien out at the end, my whole theater erupted in clapping. Seriously,
let's go.
And I joined in. Because it was fucking hype. Yeah, it was so cool. So like,
Josh is in the back. He's like,
yeah, guys, he did it.
Take that, Diamond Dame.
Yeah, take that, Diamond. No, so like, I think the audience really added a ton to it, and like these guys said, like in that epic theater, the punches felt like fucking like insane, like so real. I honestly, I mean, I can't say enough about the movie. My audience was kind of a little crazy too. There's the point where like his daughter's picture gets ripped up at school, and then she goes, the girl instantly just yeah, and then you know the teacher's talking to Adonis, and he's kind of blaming their parenting a little bit, and saying they're in the wrong, and this woman like directly behind me goes, for what? What did they do? Like I had people talking, and like usually that'd probably ruin the movie, but like I don't know, it made the movie even a lot more fun, honestly. Like it was fun watching it with an audience. So if you're listening to this and it's still in theaters, like definitely go watch it. It's 100% worth it. I wanted to go see it again, but we're seeing movies every week, so you know, I don't want to overdo it, but I think this is probably a top 10 movie of the year. I'm gonna give it a 93. I feel really confident on that. I think I'd probably get the first, like maybe a point or two above it, like barely better. And then even the second one's still not that bad. It'd probably be in the 80s range for me. So there's really no weak Creed. Like there's no bad Creed at all. But I really liked like the style of this movie. When he said anime, he's not fucking kidding around. I think that last fight was some of the coolest shit ever. Like I said, I was nervous at one point. I was crying at one point when the mom, you know, died. The movie's emotional. It's fun. It's exciting. Yeah. So 93.
Nice.
Gotcha. I will finish this off. This, like these guys said, me and Mike just went and saw it. I don't think our theater was maybe as hype as yours, Josh, but there was at least some comments. There was also a baby there. I'm not sure why you bring your baby to Creed 3, but
dude, that shit. Maybe really quick, Andrew. I'm sorry. Give me 10 seconds here.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you have a baby, actually make this a TikTok, Josh.
All right.
I'm gonna take my gum out and everything. If you have a baby, and your baby is known to be really loud at times when you're watching movies, just like any other baby, don't bring your fucking baby to the movies where there is literally 100 plus people trying to enjoy a new movie. Thank you.
Thank you for that PSA, Mike. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed this one. Like I said, the soundtrack's awesome. I walked out of this. I'm gonna look up probably the whole album and check it out. We kind of touched on just about everything in this movie that I would have to say, or at least anything that I can think of. I am gonna give it a slightly lower score than these guys. I'm going 89, and that is only because I would go 91 with the first Creed. So I would just where you guys are at with this one is probably where I'd
see. I'd go 89 with the first Creed.
Yeah, so that's why I was like,
I would too,
and then I put Creed 2 probably at like an 81.
So that's I actually
just kiss me right now, Brian. Honestly.
And I walked out of the theater and I was like, oh, I feel like this is just shy of like maybe a 90 for me, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? The first one's probably just above a 90 for me, so that's right where I fall with this. I feel confident in a good 89. This movie is worth the watch. Like Josh said, if you've not seen it, it is still in theaters. I definitely think it's worth checking out. Michael B. Jordan, first movie directed, awesome. Props to him and everyone that was involved in this. Like we said, it's a beautiful movie, in my opinion. Yeah, some of the CGI is a little, it's not great. It's got its moments where it's a little, but it's, I mean, I looked at the budget for this, 75 million, when it's going up against Marvel movies for 250 million, and the CGI and that looks like it was made by the local high school kids.
I heard it was actually closer to 90 million on some reports, not 75, but
still much cheaper than a Marvel.
Yeah, still much cheaper.
Still much cheaper, especially the the actors you have in this. So I wonder if Michael B. Jordan paid himself for he directed it.
He probably gave himself like a percentage of like the cost
sales.
Well, it's the studio that's paying him.
Yeah, I know, but is he like,
I made more money
directing
with him directing and starring? Yeah,
and starring main characters. So I don't know, but definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, and I think it made over like 50 million in the first weekend too, so it's definitely on track too.
Do you guys think this is gonna touch over half a bill? I'm sorry.
I don't know. I can't remember what the other two have made. Yeah, I think I could see it in like the 200-300 range though.
Not because it's bad, but just because one, maybe people see the title Creed 3, think of like Emma, for example, and they're like, oh no, I didn't see 1 and 2. Like, they may be a little hesitant to go see Creed 3.
There's a lot of stuff in March.
You don't think they're gonna get the Marvel effect though of Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors?
Maybe.
That, but also word of mouth could probably go a long way. Because I know I was talking about it a lot with people at work.
Top Gun. Coming
back, people were like, "Oh, did you go see Creed?" And I was like, "Yes, dude, it was fucking awesome." And that's the thing too. Like I said, originally I was thinking giving this movie an 89, but how much I talked about it at work and like how much I thought about how much I enjoyed it, I was like, no way. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say it's like a 96, like the audience score, but it's definitely in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's over 60 mil right now just in the USA. So
nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I think it can touch at least 400 or 500 in my opinion, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's just like with we're getting Scream 6, we're getting John Wick 4.
I was gonna say there's so much coming out. This is the
Shazam 2.
March Madness of movies.
Yeah,
we're gonna go through a nice run here of movies.
We are gonna be on a pretty nice
pretty much every week.
I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, no, and talking about that next week. Actually, on Tuesday we're doing Mike's pick, Rewind, A Star Is Born. We're doing that, and then Friday we're gonna talk about The Last of Us, the whole season.
Overall, God, I forgot.
Last episode.
9 episodes.
Yep, and we're doing I know, so sad. And we're doing Scream 6. So next week's crazy. We're really excited. A lot of good stuff.
Should I binge?
Mike, you excited about your movie?
Do it.
Should I binge The Last of Us this weekend?
Yeah, it's 9 episodes. Great.
Okay. Listen, I've been trying to learn Shallow by Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga on the guitar for literally over a year. This is like exactly what I needed. If we can just like open up with the intro, me just tell me something, girl. Like
I'll make it the outro.
Mike, I have a guitar too. I could. I'm a little bit further along. I could probably learn.
Hey, Andrew.
Well,
you know what I just remembered? Andrew?
What, Brian?
Our COVID bet.
Ooh,
I don't
about you learning to play a guitar, playing a song on the guitar.
Ooh,
and like
I can play you a song.
And then you didn't do it, and I was supposed to get some money for that.
Oh,
how much it was?
I think it was like $100.
How long was the COVID?
Wow, that's steep.
It was your idea. I'm pretty sure it was more than that because you were so confident.
Was it a year? How long did he have?
He had like 3 months because it was COVID time.
I can play like 6 chords, Andrew. Like I'm not that bad.
We could get rolling.
I don't even want the money. I just want to see my boy become an artist.
All right, me and
small,
Mike,
hey, small guys music.
Yeah,
Small
Star
Guys
is Born.
Media.
Me and Mike will open it.
All right, I got a busy weekend ahead. So
Me too.
Last of Us, Shallow on the guitar.
Yeah.
Well, good deal.
But we'll be back Tuesday. Thank you guys, and we'll see you.
Love you guys.
See ya.
Love you, Ryan.